Hello,
Easy. How are you?
I'm feeling okay, I
Oh,
guess.
okay. How was your day? How was your week?
Today was pretty great because we had school let out early
Oh,
this
okay.
time. It let out at around 2:30 when it
Oh,
usually lets out at 5:30
oh, wow. Why is it so early today?
because after we went home, our school is going to be a test site for a test, I
Oh,
think.
okay. They're using your school as a test
So
site.
our classrooms have to be used by, I think, students taking the test.
Oh, okay. Okay. What kind of test is it? Is it for kids like in your own school or for some from like
I'm
another
not
school?
sure.
Oh,
I
okay.
think from other schools.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, you got out of school a little early for that. All right. And what did you do with your time? Did you do something useful or just have some fun?
I had some fun and did some math exercises
Oh, okay. You sound like
because
you're
I
coming
did
down with the
poorly.
cold. What's that?
Yes, that's true.
Okay. You are coming down with the cold?
Yeah, sort of. I mean, the
Yeah.
temperature plummeted from like 20 degrees to 4 degrees in one
Oh,
day.
okay. Yeah, that can do it. Big change, a drop in
And
temperature.
I'm not very my body is not very suited to sudden change of temperatures.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, a lot of people aren't. That could be tough. So, well, I hope you knock that out pretty quick. Is that your only symptom? It's just cold. I mean, other than that, it's you feel okay. You have an appetite. You're not.
Yes, usually okay.
Mhm. Okay.
I sneeze a little more often.
Yeah. Okay.
Sometimes
Um.
I cough.
hmm Any other? How was school going? Besides getting out early today, how was your week in school?
Uh, on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we got our results for the other three exams in the midterms.
Okay. And how did you
I
do?
got a perfect score of 70 in physics
Wow. Excellent work.
and 48 out of 50 in chemistry.
Okay. Good job.
And in the other thing about ethics and law and stuff, I got 21 out of 30,
Okay.
which is okay in my class.
Okay.
Um, like 12th out of 40th out of 40 people,
Okay.
but it's not good enough.
Yeah. But is this kind of like your first test in that? A big test?
No,
No, you've had the other exams.
I
Well,
once got a 29.
ooh, out of 30?
Yes,
Oh, okay, that's really good. Why do you think you slipped a little bit?
because at that time, I think the test was relatively easier.
Oh, okay, okay. Well,
And at that point, the subject was easier to understand.
you know, are you able when you get your test results back, are you able to see the ones that you missed?
Yes, we get our
Oh,
papers back
okay, so you actually get the papers back. And do you understand why you missed
because,
them?
yes.
Okay. Okay. That's good. I mean, as long as you know where your mistakes were. So, um, all right. And anything else with your
Well,
grades? I mean,
today we did, um, I think I got 66 in the grade, if I'm remembering correctly, out of like 400 and something people.
yeah. Okay. And that,
which is good in regular standards, but bad for me because I usually get like 30 or something.
mhm,
Usually, last time I got like 22,
mm,
and before that I got 6.
okay. Well,
And uh, the main problem here is math. I did poorly in math, but everything else was great. But
mm,
as um the the score on math was too low.
okay.
That's the main problem.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's where you just have to spend more, you more focus or, just more practice on, just, doing, I mean, I don't know. It's just, in math, what the ones that you get wrong, do you understand also with that as well? Do you understand why you get those wrong or why you got them wrong?
I do now.
You do now. Okay. Um,
Yes.
yeah, I mean, math is just something I know you have to practice and do it every day. At least that's what I remember. And if you don't practice it every day, these little things just get away from you. It's like you got to continuously practice it. Many problems. So, okay. Um,
Uh, there another problem with math is time.
yeah, and
Uh,
that's true. That's true.
yeah, I usually spend a lot of time doing certain problems,
Uh-huh.
and in the end, I didn't have enough time to complete the whole paper.
Yeah.
Uh, Another factor is nervousness.
Sure.
Yes, and these
Yeah, I
are
understand.
the
Uh-huh.
three main causes of
Not-
problems.
yeah. Though, I'm trying to think with the when you take your math exams, and of course I know they're numbered one through whatever. Uh, do you usually start like just with number one and then go down to number two, number three, or do you kind of scan the paper and look for the real easy ones first, or the more probably not the more difficult ones, but what's your process? How do you take your math exams?
When the paper is given out, I usually flip it over to see the you can see what the last problem is like for a second, and then went back to doing the first problem, which is
Okay,
usually multiple choice.
okay, okay. And
After
go
six
ahead.
multiple choice problems,
Mhm.
and then there are like 12 fill in the blank problems.
Uh-huh.
And after that is like calculations and geometry and stuff after
Okay.
the 18th question. Like
Okay.
19 to 25 the the questions
The
that you
big
have to write
problems. Yeah.
specific steps
Yeah.
to your answer, something like
Okay. So it starts off easy and then it progresses in difficulty.
that.
Yeah.
Hello?
Hello. I can hear you. Hello.
Yes, okay.
Okay.
Hello, I can
So
hear you.
it starts, you can hear me, yeah? Uh-oh. Z, can you hear me?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, okay. No, what I was saying is it starts off in difficulty and it slowly progresses, getting, it's easier in the beginning and then it just kind of graduates to more time and difficult problems, correct?
Uh, Not exactly. Like
Okay.
question 18, the last question of fill in the blank
Uh-huh.
is relatively hard.
Okay.
Like 19 is usually easier because 18 is the last question of the fill in the blanks, and 19th is usually just a calculation thingy.
Mm. Okay.
Mm.
But you usually start with number one and you just work your way up.
Yes.
Okay.
If I spend too much time on one problem, I will skip it unless it's
Okay.
the last problem.
Okay.
Then
All
I
right.
face a decision. Do I check my answers in the first half or continue working on the last problem?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
That has cost me a number of times because I didn't check the answers in the first half, and I got some of them wrong, which cost me a lot of points.
mm, yeah, but if you run out of time, it's like you said, which one do I do? I kind of remember that as well when it came to when, especially when you're under pressure with time. But is it more important to check all your answers and make sure they're all correct, or not complete a problem? I mean, are all the points weighted equal, or are some valued
Um,
more than others?
and some are valued more than others. The whole
Mm-hmm.
paper is 150 points or score,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. And each multiple choice question is 4 points each. Each fill in the blank question are also 4 points each. And 19 to 25, the points vary, but they are all more than 4 points. The
Yeah.
last question, I think, is about 14 points or something
Okay.
like that.
And now let me ask you,
And
like,
the last
uh,
question is usually divided into two or three smaller questions. The first question
okay,
is easy, the second one is hard, and the third one is usually much harder.
okay. So if you get, like, for example, in the last one, if it's like broken out into three different segments, and you get like the first two right, and maybe you don't get the third part correct, you will get partial points for the segments that you got right,
Yes,
correct? Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
of
I
course.
still think it's, go ahead.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, the ones that you only get 4 points on, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't, I, it's more, it's me, it seems more important to get the bigger ones, the ones that are valued more, toward, maybe toward the end. Uh, Definitely go check them if you have time, but I would say if you're not complete with the harder ones, to try to get them before getting just, reviewing and getting, that extra 4 points for one that you may have, miscalculated or something like that. Yeah, that's tough. I know. And I think for the most part, it's not that you can't do them. And I think if you had like unlimited time, you probably would get all of them correct. It's that time factor. So that puts a lot of pressure on you, to be able to complete it, within time. And then of course getting them correct. But okay. Well, I mean, you're doing the best you can, and like I said, I think the practice will definitely help. So whenever you have free time to practice some math problems, especially the ones that you may have struggled with, or a concept or something is not as easy for you, you should try to practice those. So anyway, um, what else?
About the test? Or,
Yeah, anything about or school in general? Anything else going on?
well, today we did like a bunch of chemistry exams. I mean, experiments.
Experiments? Uh-huh. Okay.
Yes. It mainly has to do with oxygen
Okay.
and its chemical properties.
Okay. And
We first used wait, we first learned how to make oxygen. Um, and then we burned some substances in oxygen to see how they burn,
how they
like
burn.
coal,
Okay.
which is mainly made out of carbon, and
Uh-huh.
iron.
Okay. That's cool. You do
That
you
was pretty
like the
fun.
Yeah, do you like your chemistry experiments?
Hello?
Hello. Hello. You're
Yes.
yeah, okay, I think you're cutting off. I said, do you like your chemistry experiments?
Yes, they're really
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. Now, how often
However, I
how often do you do those, as far as like
uh It's
lab.
second. This is the second time this 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 term. The first was back in September.
Oh, okay. So you're not having like a lab like once a week or something like that in your chemistry class?
No,
No, not that often. Okay. Okay. Well, okay, so besides school, anything else coming up for you? Are you able to get some swimming in on the weekends?
maybe, but
Okay.
I got a cold, so
Yes,
I'm not sure
you're
about
not
that.
gonna go. Yeah. Okay. Uh,
The
what?
bad thing about the chemistry exams that you can get hurt relatively easy. I burned myself today.
Oh, did you? Yeah.
Not really burned. I touched a hot surface
Mm-hmm.
like an idiot,
What's that?
and that pain. Wait, what?
Go ahead. I heard you say you burned yourself.
And I touched a hot surface, and the
Uh-huh.
pain lasted for about an hour.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, it's
Yeah,
dangerous.
it is. It can be, and you have to be really careful. And you're usually working in a group, right? Or pairs or something
Yes, pairs,
in
usually
pairs. Yeah.
pairs, but
Okay.
different pairs usually help each other with some information and stuff. And the
Sure.
teachers are always there to offer you assistance.
Sure. But yeah, still things can happen. So you have to, be careful. Um, okay. All right. Anything else, Z?
Um, Today, well, this week, in football, on Monday, the Dolphins won against the Texans 17-9. And
Okay.
today, the Dolphins pulled off an surprising upset of the Ravens, 22-10.
Oh, okay.
So they won actually two in a row after losing seven straight.
Okay. Well, good for them. Maybe they're getting it together. They're coming back. Uh,
Yes, the
all
defense
right.
is
Better. Okay. Um, how did my Bucks do? Uh, they won, right? Last week. Hello. Uh-oh.
Bucks.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Wait. No, let me check.
Okay. Uh, that's okay. I mean, I'm just wondering if you had that on top of your head, if you knew. It's no big thing. I'm gonna say they did. That'll be my best guess. I talked to my son over last week, and he said he and his wife are going to try to get some Bucks season tickets.
Hello?
Hello, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Uh-oh.
Hello?
Hello?
Yes, I'm here
Okay.
now.
Okay. Internet
There are some
problem.
internet problems.
Okay.
Yes.
No problem. Okay. And that's okay. I'm saying I thought I said the same with the Bucks. I'm sure they won. I don't know. That's my best guess.
Let me
don't
see.
don't worry about it. And I was telling you my talk to my son last week, and he said that he thinks he and his wife are going to try to get season tickets as soon as they move there. He said it could be expensive, and he may
Which
only.
will be next year?
Yeah, they're getting ready now because he has to report in at the beginning, well, in March. So he has to be ready to go. So they were actually they're gonna take a trip, I think, this week to Florida to start looking for a house. So they're gonna look to try to buy a house there and start getting that going before they get there in March. Yeah. So there so
Well, you are wrong.
Mhm.
You are wrong.
What? They lost?
No, they didn't play.
Oh, so okay, so they had a bye. Okay. All right. How about the 49ers? They won, didn't they?
Um, I don't think so. The
They
Cardinals
lost?
beat them. Cardinals beat them 31 to 17.
Ah, okay. All right. That's all right. Okay. All right. Anyway, are you ready? You want to do some reading? Oh, you know what? Hey, Zia, I'm going to throw this out there as well. I have this. I have a subscription. Yeah, I have a subscription to a website called Scribed. I pay for it every month because, well, that's just because I do that. Anyway, but what my point is to all that is on that website, I'm able to get a lot of books, and not only just ebooks, but also audiobooks and things like that. Unfortunately, I can't share that link with you because you have to have a login and whatnot, and you know to get into it. But I did some research on the series of Warriors, and they have a lot of them. So if you want, after this book, if you want, because you've read a few of them already, we can take a look and read and continue and read the different warrior novels if that interests you in class. I mean,
That sounds interesting.
yeah, I'm just throwing it out there. You can think about it, but if you want, if you like, I mean, I just went on there last night and I saw like 15 or maybe more. I don't know, but there's a lot. So, and I don't think you've read all of those. So, and we can go through, and you can choose, or if like I said, if you're interested, you can choose one of those books or something.
Hmm. Thank you for the offer.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. Then it could also, therefore you don't have to buy so many of them, and if we read a few of them in class, you might like it, and you're familiar with it already. So, but anyway, you think about that, and if that's of interest, uh, that could be available to you. All right. Anything else?
Hmm. Well, do you know that this NFL season is full of upsets?
Okay, that doesn't surprise me. I'm
Yes,
glad.
the Jaguars beat the Bills last week. I mean, this last week.
Okay.
They held Bills quarterback Josh Allen without a touchdown.
Okay. And the
And the whole
Bills are
game,
are, are pretty good.
yes, the Bills are pretty good.
Yeah. Okay. That's good.
And, and the whole game there wasn't a touchdown. They're just 5 field goals.
Okay, just field goals. All right. So right on for the kicker.
Yep.
Okay,
And
cool.
today's game, the Dolphins and the Ravens didn't have a touchdown until the fourth quarter. And it was the defense that scored a touchdown.
Ah,
And
okay.
after in the last few minutes, both offenses scored a touchdown. And the final score was 22-10.
Hmm. Okay.
The Dolphins had a rough history with the Ravens. In 2017, the Ravens beat them 40 to nothing,
Mm-hmm.
and in 2019, the Ravens beat them 59 to 10.
Wow.
So it
That's
was a sort of a revenge game for Ravens for the
okay.
Dolphins.
Hey, and I think, I know you follow the NCAA tournament, right? A little
Nope,
bit, or not at all.
no, not at all.
You're not into college basketball whatsoever. Okay, I think they just started as well.
Yes, I
Yeah,
saw that.
yeah. I know my because my son's always is still continually watching them all the time. I wish I had time. I just don't have time. So, but okay. All right. Well, thanks for updating that. And I'm sure you'll watch some highlights this weekend for some other games, so maybe on Sunday. Yeah. All right. You
Yes.
ready to read? Uh,
Wait,
okay.
yesterday there was also a soccer game
I'm
between
sorry.
the in the World Cup qualifying.
Oh, okay.
Yes, our team, China, faced off
Uh-huh.
against Oman.
How'd you do?
They drawed 1-1.
Oh, okay. So it was a draw.
Yes,
And,
it's better than
and
loss, but
what do
not
and
as
what do
good
they
as.
do during for that? What do they do for a draw?
Both teams get 1 point.
No, no, no. I mean, it just ends that way. They don't have any. They don't do another kind of rematch or anything like that. It just
No,
ends as a draw. Okay,
yes.
okay, all right. And so when does China play again?
On the 16th against Australia.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, Australia is very strong. They beat us 3-0 in September.
Mm,
Now China has 4 points in 5 games, and and the probability of qualifying for the World Cup is now less than 1% because the other teams are just too strong,
they're just
like
too strong.
Japan, Saudi
Yeah.
Arabia, Australia.
Wow. Okay. I guess I don't really think about Australia. I just don't think that it's like, yeah, okay. I never thought of them as this, as the strong team, strong contender, but maybe so. I always
They
just
have a
think,
nice name, the Socceroos.
oh, okay. Okay, that's cool. All right, like kangaroos. That's good. But yeah, I always just think of Spain, Argentina, Brazil when I think of soccer and some of the more known uh, teams or players. Okay, well, good luck. I mean, you never know. There's upsets that are happening, so maybe they'll take Australia. We'll see. Okay, you ready to read?
Mm, let me think. Wait.
Not really.
Do you remember when I told you about Ecuador in the World Cup qualifying?
Do I remember what?
About Ecuador in the World Cup qualifying matches.
Um, Not really. I
I told
mean,
you they were doing pretty well,
yeah,
like in
yeah,
third place.
yeah. How are they doing now? I haven't heard.
Well,
I haven't heard anything here, so that's what kind of gets me when, because normally in the town, just in even just in Cuenca here, or even in our papers of Ecuador, different different news articles that we get, there hasn't been like anything about Ecuador with soccer, so that tells me that they're not doing good. Because usually it's a big hype and everybody is uh, talking about it, or you're reading about it. You can't help but see it. But it's been very quiet about that. So what do you know?
Let me see.
I, I'd imagine they're not
Wait
doing
a second.
doing well.
Mm,
I could be wrong, but I just haven't heard or seen anything. And Z, I don't know about in your schools. I highly doubt this, but in Ecuador, if they're playing soccer and it's something that is televised where we can watch it, and I don't care what time of day it is, whether it's morning, afternoon, or evening. If they're playing during the day and kids are in school, they cancel school, or they bring in the TV sets in the schools so the kids can watch them. But I mean, that's true. I mean, I'm not making this up. I've seen it many times, and and this is even private schools where I was teaching when I first came here. I was teaching at a private school, English to children. Parents are paying for it, and if there was a soccer game and Ecuador was playing, there was no classes.
wait,
I
really?
would come seriously. I would come into the class, and they're usually in their evening classes, so this was like after school time. So I would come into the class, and I already knew before class time, because parents of the children would still be at the school. Instead of dropping them off and picking them up a couple hours later, there would be all these parents inside the auditorium, and and all the different areas of classrooms, and there would be the big screen TV that would be on and I would hear all the Spanish soccer going on, and that's it. Then there's no class. You're not going to get any student in a classroom. So they're all congregated on the stairway, um, in the quad, on every single available chair, sofa, everything, and we're watching the game. And that's just how it is. Anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. So I just haven't seen any of that, or heard of anything of soccer in the last, I don't know, last couple of weeks or anything. What
Well,
did you find?
Ecuador is now third place again
Mhm.
in a total of 10 teams. It
Mhm.
has 20 points, and the first place is Brazil with 34. They already qualified for the World Cup. Second
Okay.
place is Argentina with 25. Third place
Mhm.
is Ecuador with 20.
Wow. That's surprising. Okay. I mean, it doesn't surprise me about Argentina or Brazil. It's like, okay. Well, I mean, have they played recently? Because I mean,
I think they
I haven't
just
heard.
I think yesterday they beat Venezuela
Okay. Huh.
1-0.
Okay.
And
That's
in an international friendly term game, they beat Mexico 3-2.
wow. So Ecuador's doing good. Yeah, I mean, there's just, and I've been doing a lot of walking the last few days, because I'm not going to physical therapy or anything anymore, because I'm really pretty much, I'm all healed. So I'm just building up and just getting a lot of walking in. But normally when you go into town, there's a lot of places. If there's a lot of soccer going on, they're watching it. They got big screens in a lot of these bars and restaurants and stuff. And I haven't seen any in the past. I've been walking into town the last 3 or 4 days. in the evening time when I would think they were playing, but no, it's been quiet. So I don't know. Okay, it's time to read.
So Ecuador has a very big possibility of qualifying for the World Cup.
Well, the way you've been talking, and there's all these other upsets that very well could happen. I just would never expect them to beat Argentina or Brazil. So, but you never know. Strange things happen. That would be
Yep.
that would be exciting if they do. This country, in even this town, like they love their soccer, and they um it'd be nice. It'd be nice to see something like that. So anyway, okay. Well, good luck to them.
Yep.
Thanks for checking.
You're welcome.
Okay. All right. You ready?
Yes.
Okay. Let's start chapter 3.
Chapter 3. How they toiled and sweated to get the hay in, but their efforts were rewarded, for the harvest was an even bigger success than they had hoped. Sometimes the work was hard. The implements had been designed for human beings and not for animals, and it was a great drawback that no animal was able to use any tool that involved standing on his hind legs. But the pigs were so clever that they could think of a way around every difficulty. As for the horses, they knew every inch of the field, and in fact understood the business of mowing and raking far better than Jones and his men had ever done. The pigs did not actually work, but directed and supervised the others. With their superior knowledge, it was natural that they should assume the leadership. Boxer and Clover would harness themselves to the cutter or the horse rake. No bits or reins were needed in these days, of course, and tramped steadily around and around the field with a pig walking behind and calling out, "Gee up, comrade," or "Woe back, comrade," as the case might be. And every animal down to the humblest worked at turning the hay and gathering it. Even the ducks and hens toiled to and fro all day
To
in
and
the
fro. Mhm.
to and fro all day in the sun, carrying tiny wisps of hay in their beaks. In the end, they finished the harvest in 2 days less time than it had usually taken Jones and his men. Moreover, it was the biggest harvest that the farm had ever seen. There was no wastage whatever. The hens and ducks with their sharp eyes had gathered up the very last stalk, and not an animal on the farm had stolen so much as a mouthful. All through that summer, the work of the farm went like clockwork. The animals were happy as they had never conceived it possible to be. Every mouthful of food was an acute positive pleasure, now that it was truly their own food, produced by themselves and for themselves, not doled out to them by a grudging master. With the worthless parasitical human beings gone, there was more for everyone to eat. There was more leisure too. Inexperienced though the animals were, they met with many difficulties. For instance, later in the year, when they harvested the corn, they had to tread it out in the ancient style and blow away the chaff with their breath. Since the farm possessed no threshing machine, but the pigs, with their cleverness, and Boxer, with his tremendous muscles, always pulled them through. Boxer was the admiration of everybody. He had been a hard worker even in Jones's time, but now he seemed more like 3 horses than one. There were days when the entire work of the farm seemed to rest on his mighty shoulders. From morning till night, he was pushing and pulling, always at the spot where the work was hardest. He had made an arrangement with one of the cockerels to call him in the morning half an hour earlier than anyone else, and would put in some volunteer labor at whatever seemed to be most needed before the regular day's work began. His answer to every problem, every setback was, "I will work harder," which he had adopted as his personal motto. But everyone worked according to his capacity. The hens and ducks, for instance, saved five bush, bush, bushels
Bushels.
bushels of corn at the harvest by gathering up the stray grains. Nobody stole, nobody grumbled over his rations. The quarreling and biting and jealousy, which had been normal features of life in the old days, had almost disappeared. Nobody shirked, or almost nobody. Molly, it was true, was not good at getting up in the mornings, and had a way of leaving work early on the ground that there was a stone in her hoof, and the behavior of the cat was somewhat peculiar. It was soon noticed that when there was work to be done, the cat could never be found. She would vanish for hours on end, and then reappear at meal times, or in the evening after work was over, as though nothing had happened. But she always made such excellent excuses and purred so affectionately that it was impossible not to believe in her good intentions. Old Benjamin, the donkey, seemed quite unchanged since the rebellion. He did his work in the same slow, obstin- obstinate
Obstinate.
way as he had done it in Jones's time, never shirking and never volunteering for extra work either. About the rebellion and its results, he would express no opinion. When asked whether he was not happier now that Jones was gone, he would say only, "Donkeys live a long time. None of you has ever seen a dead donkey," and the others had to be content with this cryptic answer. On Sundays there was no work. Breakfast was an hour late than usual, and after breakfast there was a ceremony which was observed every week without fail. First came the hoisting of the flag. Snowball had found in the harness room an old green tablecloth of Mrs. Jones, and had painted on the roof
Uh,
on it a hoof and a horn in white. It was run up the flagstaff in the farmhouse garden every Sunday morning. The flag was green, Snowball explained, to represent the green fields of England, and while the hoof and horn signified the future republic of the animals, which would arise when the human race had been finally overthrown. That sounds familiar. The flag.
okay.
Kind of like the hammer and sickle.
Okay. Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, I'll have you after we read everything, I'm gonna have you write because this is really taking, uh place or a take on another historical event. But you're seeing some similarities. Go ahead.
After the hoisting of the flag, all the animals trooped into the big bar for a general assembly, which was known as the meeting. Here the work of the coming week was planned out, and resolutions were put forward and debated. It was always the pigs who put forward the resolutions. The other animals understood how to vote, but could never think of any resolutions of their own. Snowball and Napoleon were by far the most active in the debates, but it was noticed that these two were never in agreement. Whatever suggestion either of them made, the other would be counted on to oppose it, even when it was resolved, a thing no one could object to in itself. To set aside the small paddock behind the orchard as a home of rest for animals who were past work, there was a stormy debate over the correct retiring age for each class of animal. The meeting always ended with the saying of "Beasts of England," and the afternoon was given up to recreation. The pigs had set aside the harness room as a headquarters for themselves. Here, in the evenings, they studied blacksmithing, carpenting, carpentering, and other necessary arts from books which they had brought out of the farmhouse. Snowball also buried himself with organizing the other animals into what he called animal committees. He was indefatigable at this, he formed the Egg Production Committee for the hens, the Clean Tails League for the cows, the Wild Comrades Re-Education Committee. The object of this was to tame the rats and rabbits. The Whiter Wool Movement for the sheep, and various others, besides instituting classes in reading and writing. On the whole, these projects were a failure. The attempt to tame the wild creatures, for instance, broke down almost immediately. They continued to behave very much as before, and when treated with generosity, simply took advantage of it. The cat joined the re-education committee and was very active in it for some days. She was seen one day sitting on the roof and talking to some sparrows, who were just out of her reach. She was telling them that all animals were now comrades, and that any sparrow who choose who chose could come and perch on her paw, while the sparrows kept their distance. The reading and writing classes, however, were a great success. By the autumn, almost every animal on the farm was literate in some degree. As for the pigs, they could already read and write perfectly. The dogs learned to read fairly well, but were not interested in reading anything except the Seven Commandments. Muriel, the goat, could read somewhat better than the dogs, and sometimes used to read to the others in the evenings from scraps of newspaper which she found on the rubbish heap. Benjamin could read as well as any pig, but never exercised his faculty.
Faculty.
So far as he knew, he said, there was nothing worth reading. Clover learned the whole alphabet, but could not put words together. Boxer could not get beyond the letter D. He would trace out A, B, C, D in the dust with his great hoof, and then would stand staring at the letters with his ears back, sometimes shaking his forelock, trying with all his might to remember what came next, and never succeeding. On several occasions, indeed, he did learn E, F, G, H, but by the time he knew them, it was always discovered that he had forgotten A, B, C, and D. Finally, he decided to be content with the first four letters. I used to write them out once or twice every day to refresh his memory. Molly refused to learn any but the 6 letters which spelled her own name. She would form these very neatly out of pieces of twig, and would then decorate them with a flower or two and walk around with them, admiring them.
Molly. Okay.
None of the other animals on the farm could get further than the letter A. It was also found that the stupider animals, such as the sheep, hens, and ducks, were unable to learn the 7 commandments by heart. After much thought, Snowball declared that the 7 commandments can in fact be reduced to a single maxim, namely 4 legs good, 2 legs bad. This, he said, contained the essential principle of animalism. When whoever had thoroughly grasped it would be safe from human influences. The birds at first objected, since it seemed to them that they also had 2 legs, but Snowball proved to them that this was not so. A bird's wing, comrades, he said, is an organ of propulsion and not of manipulation. It should therefore be regarded as a leg. The distinguishing mark of man is the hand, the instrument with which he does all his mischief. The birds did not understand Snowball's long words, but they accepted his explanation, and all the humbler animals set to work to learn the new maxim by heart. 4 legs good, 2 legs bad, was inscribed on the end wall of the barn, above the 7 commandments, and in bigger letters. When they had once got it by heart, the sheep developed a great liking for this maxim, and often as they lay in the field, they would all start bleating, 4 legs good, 2 legs bad, 4 legs good, 2 legs bad, and keep it up for hours on end, never growing tired of it. Napoleon took no interest in Snowball's committees. He said that education of the young was more important than anything that could be done for those who were already grown up. It happened that Jessie and Bluebell had both whelped soon after the hay harvest, giving birth between them to nine sturdy puppies. As soon as they were weaned, Napoleon took them away from their mother.
Uh-oh. Hello? Hello? Z, I don't hear you.
Hello?
There you are.
Yes,
I didn't I didn't hear you.
I don't know what
Okay.
happened.
I don't know. Um Read that last part there where it says Napoleon took them away. Mhm.
Napoleon took no interest in snowballs committees. He said that the education of the young was more important than anything that could be done for those who were already grown up. It happened that Jessie and Bluebell had both whelped soon after the hay harvest, giving birth between them to nine sturdy puppies. After, as soon as they were weaned, Napoleon took them away from their mothers, saying that he would make himself responsible for their education. He took them up into a loft, which could only be reached by a ladder from the harness room, and there kept them in such seclusion that the rest of the farm soon forgot their existence. The mystery of where the milk went was soon cleared up. It was mixed every day into the pig's mash. The early apples were now ripening, and the grass of the orchard was littered with windfalls. The animals had assumed as a matter of course that these would be shared out equally. One day, however, the order went forth that all the windfalls were to be collected and brought to the harness room for the use of the pigs. At this some of the other animals murmured, but it was no use. All the pigs were in full agreement on this point, even Snowball and Napoleon. Squealer was sent to make the necessary explanations to the others. Comrades, he cried, you do not imagine, I hope, that we pigs are doing this in a spirit of selfishness and privilege. Many of us actually dislike milks and apples. I dislike them myself. Our sole object in taking these things is to preserve our health. Milks and apples, this has been proved by science, comrades, contain substances absolutely necessary to the well-being of a pig. We pigs are brain workers. The whole management and organization of this farm depend on us. Day and night, we are watching over your welfare. It is for your sake that we drink that milk and eat those apples. Do you know what would happen if we pigs failed in our duty? Jones would come back. Yes, Jones would come back. Surely, comrades, cried Squealer almost pleadingly, skipping from side to side and whisking his tail. Surely there is no one among you who wants to see Jones come back. Now, if there was one thing that the animals were completely certain of, was that they did not want Jones back. When it was put to them in this light, they had no more to say. The importance of keeping the pigs in good health was all too obvious, so it was agreed without further agree- further argument further argument that the milk and the windfall apples, and also the main crop of apples, when they ripened, should be reserved for the pigs alone.
Okay. So what do you think so far? What do you think of the changes, the gradual changes and the reasonings um, this is occurring?
Hmm. The pigs are starting to gather up wealth or thing because they are the
Mm-hmm.
leaders.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And isn't it interesting to see how everything, how when everything first started out, it was we're all equal. Every animal is equal. And that was their motto, it all. And then of course it was, you know, two legs good, or two legs bad, four legs good. And there were seven commandments and how they're taking one now. And I mean, there's the thought of all, some of the other animals, they just can't learn to read and other skills, and so they're finding weaknesses in all the other animals, and they're gonna use that to their advantage. Anyway, I know we got to get going. Do you like it?
Yes, it's very interesting.
It's very interesting.
Complaint
Okay.
compared to the Soviets.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. We'll, like I said, we'll probably do some kind of exercises maybe halfway through here pretty soon, or maybe just wait to the end and I'll have you do a paper and we'll do some kind of comparison on that as well, what you see. But anyway, just because it's end of class time. Any last minute questions or anything else before we go? We'll pick up on chapter 4 then next week.
Okay.
Okay. Well, hey, Z, I hope you feel better. Hope you get over your cold quickly, and have a great week in school next week.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, all right. I will see you then next week. Good job. Good job reading.
Okay, thank you.
Sharing. Okay, all right. And think about what I said with the other books on warriors. Okay.
Okay, thank you for your kindness.
No problem. Okay, have a great week. I'll see you next week.
Okay,
All right.
bye.
Bye, Z.
See you next week.